Hi guys, this is Ben from Ben's RPG Pile, and today we're going to show you how to make a gong. I know this sounds like a kind of a wild title, but we needed to make a signature piece for our upcoming Phoenix Comic-Con Dungeon Delve, which is entitled The Ark of Souls, and it's actually a spin-off of an old Dungeon Delve from the Dungeons and Dragons book, which is a great book. I hope you guys all have it in your library. If not, you should pick it up. There's a cool little adventure in here called the Hall of Ancestors, and we decided to make a spin-off of that. And one of the first rooms in our Ark of Souls delve that has a gong to sound an alarm. So this was quite the process, and I thought, hey, you know what? I think I'll show you guys how I did it, because I thought it was kind of fascinating. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is we had to figure out a brace, right? So this is Hearst Arts blocks, and you have to make a brace to hang your gong, right? Otherwise you got nothing. So I used the blocks, and you know, I added a torch over there, and then you know, gave it some columns, and did some nice flock and stonework on it. So that was my goal. You know, I wanted it to didn't look awkward, right? But ultimately, I had to make a base, right? So in terms of the just decorating the base, we'll go over that real quick. I used some flock, right? First, for moss, I used the old ground cover there. This is stuff you can get at any train store. Honestly, guys, it's the best stuff I've used. It's very easy to put on, and then you push it into these little crevices, and it really does a great job. So and it's very cheap, very reasonable. This may take me till the end of my life to use all this. So that's one type of flock. There's some more flock, dark soil from Skull Crafts. Another one's called it's like an amber brush. Whoop, that's a amber brush right there. And then the third one, and my favorite, of course, beach sand, right? So I used all those to put on the piece and give it like a real worn feel. What I was shooting for was essentially to have this look like something out of the old Weissmuller Tarzan movies, or for the younger kids out there, hey, how about the Indiana Jones, any of the Indiana Jones, the good Indiana Jones movies in the beginning, right? That whole temple jungle kind of feel, okay? So I use that flock, and ultimately, you know, we're in our adventure. We don't want some guys to sound the alarm. So the adventurers are going to try to kill this guy who's running towards the gong, and they got one round to do it. If they kill him, he doesn't hit the gong, and then that means a whole bunch of additional monsters aren't released if he does, you know. So that's kind of what they're trying to stop. So you know, that's a big part of the adventure. It has it's a timed adventure, so it's an important part. If they kill this guy before he hits that gong, they'll save themselves some fights. It'll save them some time. They can get through the timed 60-minute adventure quicker. So got to have a piece that, you know, that represents that, right? So how do we make that gong? So first I was trying to get some circular pieces, and boy, I got to tell you, I went to Michael's, and I bought a piece, and you'll see in the photos at the end of this, it broke in half as I was trying to make it. So I had to go with a plan B. And I use these bases from Gale Force 9, right? And this one's kind of too big right here. This one's a little bit better. So what I did was I used that base as a starter, right? But it's kind of flat, right? A little too flat. So I had to use some milliput, one of the greatest inventions ever, which you can get on their website, and real cheap and easy. And it essentially makes this clay, right? You'll kind of see that on the gong there, and you spread it on intermittently, and then you take a little hobby knife or something, you give it some divots, right? Looks like this gong's been sounded a lot, right? So you make some divots on there, and then you essentially got to paint it up, and then when you paint it, you'll get kind of that 3D effect for the gong, right? This is what it looks like when you paint it. Right, when you first paint it, and then you put the milliput on top of that, and you paint it again. To give it that bronze feel, I really used 3 different paints. I used a, oh boy, what is that? Oh, dwarf bronze, right? Then I used a molten bronze, and then I used a black ink. So I essentially put these on in stages and dry brush them to get me this kind of this old brass weathered feel. Okay, now I had to suspend the thing. Hey, that's not easy either, right? So I took some milliput, put it on the back, and got some rope, and I painted some twine or some stuff. I painted it brown, and then I used the milliput to secure it onto the back. Now on my piece here, you'll see it right there, I used milliput underneath it and wrapped it around my wood, or sorry, around my milliput, and then I ended up putting some tacky glue on top of that, which dries really clear, and then I painted it all black. Kind of felt like, hey, maybe they would suspend it with tar, right? So I kind of think that's kind of cool. It has that tar look kind of thing. Okay, so that's how I suspended it. What else can I tell you about it? I mean, that's kind of it, you guys. You know, nothing crazy, but again, I'm trying to make a piece that's going to be memorable on the table. It's a signature piece. I think it's important that you have some of those that stand out. The Hearst Arts bricks, these are the Fieldstone bricks. Very easy. I painted them together. Used my typical dungeon paint job, and I think it turned out pretty good. So we'll be at Phoenix Comic-Con at the end of May, running adventures on Friday and Saturday. There's 60-minute adventures for a group of 4. Last year we ran Lava and a Cup of Java on our YouTube channel. There's a bunch of video on there. There's a great wrap-up video of that, by the way, which you can see, and there's a bunch of pictures on it. So we made another one, and I'll do another video here on YouTube to show you guys everything we made. I don't want to spoil it as all, so I'm not going to show it quite yet, but certainly our next video in June will have we'll show you the entire delve, in case you couldn't make it down to Phoenix for the con. But I think that's pretty neat, and certainly we welcome any suggestions or ideas. There's a blog post that goes with this that will give you all the details, the specific paint colors, real good photos, the type of flock we used, the glue we used, all the companies that we bought stuff from in order to make it happen. All the links are there. So I get those questions quite a bit of, hey, what's this, or where'd you get that? And it's always on the blog entry. So whenever I do a YouTube video, I always have a blog entry to go with it, because I can't give you every link in detail right here. And that's just located at bensrpgpile.com, which we update once a week. We have our video podcast where you can watch us play, and maybe we'll probably post this session, one of our play tests of the adventure, so you guys can see that. Also, you can always say hey to me on Twitter, bensrpgpile. You can go to our Facebook page, bit.ly/Facebook, what is it, RPG, something like that. But that's on our site too. So that's all up there. But there it is, guys. I hope you enjoy. See you later.
Tuck me in at night, roll up the covers, turn out the light, kiss me on the cheek and say, I heard Tony Chop Chop got away. The window must stay open, don't touch it, little boy. If you're still here in the morning, I'll buy you a brand new toy. I don't know what Jack saw in you, the old man wouldn't see the truth. He didn't want us in the deals, you ground up dirt and put it in our meal. There was method in the madness, you're slippery as an eel. You're a family epidemic, I don't like how it feels. You're the toast of the town with neighbors around. You're the cool one, you're a chameleon, and I'm waiting for the change. When you come up for air with that 100-yard stare, you're coming undone, this party is no fun. You've lost hold of the reins, time has passed and I've moved on. Made up my mind.